Hey guys, this is Nicole of The Curious Creative, and I'm a graphic designer based in the Philippines. And in this video, I have changed my background. Also, I'm going to be designing a hotel/resort branding from scratch. Now, the Philippines is a tropical country, so it makes sense that there are a lot of tropical hotels or hotels and resorts with the tropical theme. And I mean, this is just me, but I feel like the hotels and resorts with this summer tropical theme tend to focus more on photography and their interior design, which is understandable. But I feel like when you look at their Instagram or whatever platform they use to connect with their audience, they all end up looking like one brand. You can't really distinguish one from the other. So for this branding exercise, I wanted to keep things close to my Filipino roots and also have it be relevant to what this imaginary brand represents. And since I am playing the part of both the designer and the client, I wanted this brand to lean more towards advocating sustainability and eco-conscious living. So the name I've decided to give this brand is called Nipa Resorts. And Nipa is just another species of palm tree that we typically use to make nipa huts. And nipa huts here in the Philippines is what we call a bahay kubo. And just stay with me. A bahay kubo is a native house iconic to the Philippines. It is also a symbol for a term we call bayanihan. And bayanihan means to work together as a community. I feel like it's such a perfect pairing because my goal for this brand is for them to attract consumers that think like them. So hopefully they are able to create a community of people who also practice sustainability and eco-conscious living. So yeah, just some background on why I chose that name. So I'm gonna start by enumerating what I want the overall vibe to be. So one would be definitely tropical. Second one would be clean. Third, I'm gonna say natural. Alright, so after we've done that, I'm gonna quickly browse through Pinterest and drag any photos I think would work. So just give me a minute. Alright, so I am done with the mood board and I really like what I am seeing so far and what I've done. And I've made sure to include some stationery items, how maybe the interior could work together along with the branding, and my visualization of a sort of lobby with this type of vibe and what their potential clientele could look like if they posted stuff in the resort, in the hotel, and yeah, just the overall feel of the branding. I also like the idea of including pottery and having a brand, a local resort, collaborate with local artisans to, fix up rooms with amenities and designs and like knickknacks here and there. I think that's a great way to promote local businesses as well. So yeah, that's the mood board, and now we're gonna move on to the colors. And for the colors, I am thinking pretty much what you see in the mood board above. So I like to start with the lightest colors first. So that is our color scheme done. This is pretty much how I saw it in my head, and I'm happy with what is happening right now. So some colors here are inspired by like the natural elements, so stone, leaves, wood, some basket weaves, something like that. And yeah, they complement each other really well. There's a nice mix of neutrals and warm colors, and yeah, it's nothing too vibrant, which I'm happy with. And now that that's done, we can now move on to typography. Now with typography, let's just use this as a background because we want to keep that aesthetic going. Now, I'm just going to type in the name of our brand, Nipa Resort. And I'm gonna search for some fonts that'll work for this brand and get back to you guys later. is our short list of fonts that may or may not work for this brand. And now it is time for the elimination round. So we're gonna start with the first font. The way I save fonts or shortlist fonts is whatever gives me a first good impression as I scroll through my list of fonts, I keep. And then when you look at it compared to the rest, you can sort of get a good grasp of what works and what doesn't. You can also have a good idea on what thickness you want your font to be and how narrow or wide. And looking at it all together, I don't want this brand to have a font that's too thick. I want it to be in that medium range, not too narrow. So I'm gonna delete the ones that I think won't work and just trust my gut. Okay, so I just grouped these fonts according to how similar they look. So these ones look quite similar to me. Well, not this one, but this one is, these three look similar to me. This one, I really like what's happening here, even though it is thick and I didn't want it to be thick, but it feels very luxurious and very strong, and it has this impact I really like. We'll see. I'll just keep it there for safekeeping. But for these three, number 2, I picked number 2 for this because it has more personality, I guess. But I like what's happening here, the inclusion of this element inside the O, which I might keep. So I'll keep this here just for that element. This one, number 2, beats you. The third one is losing. Yeah, it's losing me compared to the rest. I do not like it anymore. And now we are here with these two groups, and I do think this is a bit more bland looking at it now. So bye. Yeah, now we are getting somewhere. Now I see it. Now I think this doesn't work as much as I would like to, so goodbye. Last 4, actually not this one. I just want the element that's there, so maybe we'll keep that. Let's create outlines and then remove the sparkle. We could have made our own, but I am too lazy for that. I'm gonna keep that element over here. And now we are down to 3. For these 3 fonts, this is very sleek and clean. I like that there are these wispy inclusions. For this one, I like the curves that are incorporated in this font. It reminds me of the waves of the ocean and how there is a water element to this resort. But this one also has that as well. So let me just check how it looks like if it isn't in all caps. Ooh, I really like this. But it is a bit narrow. Maybe I can play with it a bit. Ow. This O is quite wide. I like that. Ooh. Yeah, I think this is a bit too busy now. I think I want to keep it neat and simple like these two. So goodbye, beautiful font. This is the Night Watch in regular. So this is our top 2 contenders. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. Someone just rang the doorbell, and I also got myself a nice drink because I am currently dying in this weather. So sorry, but where were we? Oh yeah, so the top 2 fonts that we have come across is Chatoyer and Hook regular. Honestly, I feel like the first one really would work with this brand. Like you see, I feel like it would work. Let's try this one because they're both really nice, and I am very indecisive. I think I am going to go with the second one, which is Hook, because against a darker, oh my god, I'm sweating. It's too hot. Because against a darker background, I can see that the thinnest line available in this font is quite thin, and this one is a bit more closer in terms of variation of the thickness, so feels like it gets invisible, like it barely registers. I feel like this one it feels more even. You see, right? So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the second one. So I'm gonna keep these two fonts here, even when we are not selecting, because I might change my mind. And the last thing you wanna do is delete a font that you initially liked. Look for it through hundreds of fonts that you have on your computer. And that is just a quest I'm not willing to go through again. So yeah, we are moving on with the font, and I'm gonna start manipulating it to how I see fit. And I'll be back in a bit. So I am done with the visuals, the logos, and the submarks, and I'm super happy with how everything turned out. It looks so good. Can we just take like a minute to appreciate everything that's happening here on screen? I mean, look at that logo. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So for the logo, I mixed and matched the first and second font. So I told you, do not delete stuff you think might work, because you never know. And yeah, I managed to use that and replace the little swoopy thing here on the R for the R here. I made it more wider and also played around with the size of this E because I felt like it was a bit too stiff if everything was the same height. And then for the submark, I used the N and the R and also included a palm tree because Nipa is just another species of palm tree. And so I used my iPad and worked on Procreate to create the illustration and used image trace to have my drawing turned into a vector. And I would recommend that you turn all your illustrations into a vector file if you can, because it is more flexible. So if your client wants your design placed on a small card or a big poster, they can resize that however big or small they want and it won't get pixelated and the quality still remains the same. And yeah, I really like how the illustrations turned out. I'll include the time lapse of the illustrations that I made. And I've also included some stickers that could go with like a loot bag if you were there visiting with your friends or something, or if influencers visit the resort, this could be in the goodie bag or something. So now I'm gonna work on the mockups and hopefully they turn out as well as I see it in my head. But yeah, now we are gonna go to a transition and I'll show you the mockups. It, you guys, that is it for the Nipa Resort branding, and I had so much fun doing this. I love sharing stuff about my Filipino background, and please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video and if you learned something from this. Hopefully you did. But that's it, guys. That's this video, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, guys.